Richard Bell, Indigenous artist, activist and provocateur. A Kamilaroi, Kuma, E-Man and Gureng man, was born in Charleville in southwestern Queensland, northeastern Australia in 1953. Kamilaroi totems are the crow and the eagle representing flight of spirit, soaring over obstacles and all matters to do with the ego. Kuma. The totem of the Kuma people is the mulga snake, which is an important ancestral being. Their cultural heritage includes scar trees and fish traps. On the 25th of June 2014, the Kuma people had their native title recognised by the Federal Court of Australia. Ye-Man. The Ye-Man people were thought to have been wiped out before any words could be recorded. However, the Hornet Bank massacre is recorded, which took place on October 27, 1857 at a site known as Goongarry. Gureng. Gureng are freshwater people with the emu as their totem. In the night sky looking south towards the Southern Cross, between the stars you will see dark clouds that represent the emu head. Dust lanes stretch towards the Milky Way, forming the neck, body and legs. When Captain Cook discovered Australia, it was portrayed as one vast continent, with nomadic people who shared common language, laws and spirituality. The map shows, in fact, that the continent of Australia was made up of many countries, much as in Europe, each country with their own language, laws, culture and totems. Bell lived with his mother Sarah Bell and his younger brother Marshall in a tent on the Aboriginal Reserve in Charleville. Bell relates, "We had to wait for the white people to throw away enough corrugated iron to build a tin shack to live in. When Sarah died, his sons were aged 17 and 14 and were in danger of being put into state government homes. To avoid this, Nellie, a cousin of activist Sugar Ray Robinson, adopted the boys." Bell recalled his childhood in Queensland as an oppressive time for most Queenslanders, and it was only when he moved to Sydney in 1974 that he began to understand the level of racism against First Nations people in this country. During the 10 years he lived in Redfern, he befriended activists at the newly formed Aboriginal Legal Service and began playing rugby for the Redfern All Blacks League. Through this connection, he formed a relationship with the International Black Power movement, and this led to him collaborating on artworks with Emery Douglas, who was a member of the Black Panther movement. During a break in art, Bell read everything he could on contemporary art. Eventually returning to Brisbane, Bell worked relentlessly in the Fireworks Gallery, experimenting to find the best medium for delivering the powerful messages we see in his art today. The Sign Says It. This work is based on a black and white photograph that appeared in a newspaper article taken during a protest march in Darwin in the late 1960s. The protest was against a bill before the Northern Territory government that, had it passed, would have led to the loss of First Nations reserve land. From Little Things, Big Things Grow 2020. This artwork was exhibited as part of the You Can Go Now exhibition held at the MCA in June to November in 2021. This artwork is 6 metres by 3 metres and took Bell 16 months to complete. Looking closely, you will see signs protesting about many global protests from around the world, including Ostica, which parodies swastika, and George Floyd's murder, I Can't Breathe. Embassy 2013 ongoing. This installation pays homage to the Embassy, which was a beach umbrella put up on the lawns outside Old Government House by 4 young men on Australia Day in 1972, with the sign Australian Embassy. Embassy has been invited to many international exhibitions around the world where it is seen as a symbol of solidarity and resistance against oppression. Bell often takes First Nations people with him, and they form part of the experience by sitting and talking with visitors. After seeing Embassy in Palestine, a local group of Palestinians recreated it in Arabic to reflect their own journey. When Bell was rejected as Australia's official artist at the Venice Biennale in 2019, he wrapped a replica of the Australian pavilion in chains and sailed it down the canal on a barge. Beginning as an activist, Bell eventually realised that his voice would be louder through the medium of art. In 2003, when Bell won the Indigenous Award, he stated, "It is my job as an artist to provoke thought and discussion." Embassy fulfills this admirably, not only for First Nations people in Australia, but for people suffering injustice and oppression around the world. Thank you.